Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. Just adjusting here some of the volume. We have a few people chiming in. You are on the Small Business Goal Setting and Digital Marketing Series. This is a small business workshop that's hosted every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I think we're going to get going. Few housekeeping items. Today's session, as all of them are recorded, it will be emailed to you. You are on mute. I am not on mute. And if you cannot hear me, you just need to hit the chat button on the side and let me know that. I think I've already had a few people chatting, so I think I'm working and ready to go. We're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes or less, and I have some questions this week that we're going to answer from people that emailed me. My name is Maria Barakat. For those of you that are new to the call, I do this every single week on digital marketing. It's essential for every business to do all of these things: strategy, digital marketing, and learn what's going on. You can download documents at designbearmarketing.com/resources, and you should be able to see everything in there. Today, we're going to briefly go through the goals. We're going to talk about content and their purpose and the calendar and holidays. Last week, we talked about the content calendar. This week, we're going to get into some details. These are the goal setting documents that you can download. They really are essential. And today it kind of goes into some of the stuff, what it is you're trying to offer to your customers. Last week we talked about the calendar, what it was, that it's a shareable resource, and this is something you can do to organize yourself and organize your team. If you have a small team or if it's just yourself, it's really nice to see a whole view, and I showed you various ways that you can do it. Today we're going to go more detail into that content and into the holidays and how long you have to kind of set things up. So hopefully you went into Google or you downloaded something and you are now working with a calendar that goes month by month, and you're putting in all of your promotions and all the important dates that are applicable to your business. You've created some themes, maybe you put in some holidays, and we're going to really talk about these kind of hashtag and national holidays, because if you don't know what to write on social media or on your blog, this is something that can really help you to do that. So I did have several people ask me the same question from last week. So how do I know if my content is good enough to attract new customers? So this is really a critical thing. So I just want to add something to this week. First of all, if your business is sort of stagnant and you know, in the old days it was a certain way, it means that you're not providing enough content, and maybe it's good content, but we're not doing it in the right way. So one of the things I asked you to do was to review everything that you have, to go in and see your brochures and see the materials that people can download from your website and read the website content that you have. Put on the glasses of a content and kind of a customer and see what you have and how it looks to them. And what do you think? Is it branded? Is the message the same everywhere? So this is the starting point of creating that calendar and understanding what it is, because content has goals. So this is where we're going to answer that question about your own content purposes. So does it entertain? So when you look at your posts, when you're looking at your website, you know, of course you're not a comedian, but you want to offer information that's interesting and that's entertaining to us. Education is a critical aspect of content, and that's really what we're talking about here. People need to know a lot about you before they make a decision to work with you, and you have to have a lot of educational content out there. And does it inspire? This is more for your posts, you know, quotes and things that you can give people. And of course, you're trying to convince them of something. You're trying to help them to make a decision about working with you, about buying from you. So sometimes if you're a service provider and you're depending on your prices and your values, not everybody is your customer. So you want to show them all of these things so that they can go somewhere else and not waste your time, but you want to attract the people that you meet that need. So having something like this where you're sitting down and looking at that content specifically and marking it out. So you're going to go into your websites, your blogs, your news, your newsletters, your posts, your brochures, any reports that you have, any comparisons that you have. All the materials need to go in one of these categories. And some will go in multiple categories. But as you look at your last 60, 90 days of posting, are you really giving people everything that they need that can be shared? So let's kind of look at it a little closer. Education. So this is sort of our rationale. We decide, we're emotional people, right? Of course we want the facts and the benefits and all that kind of stuff, but we also need stuff and want stuff, right? So that's where the education and the inspiration come in. So of course I want you to give me the facts, but I also need to have some kind of an experience. So in order to make me aware to purchase from you, I need all of these things. So what are those things? Entertainment can be videos, quizzes, games, and contests, right? You can educate people through your news, your e-news, your articles. Maybe you do press releases, infographics, and have guides and reports. And if you don't have these things, maybe you need to sit down and write them out. How do you inspire people? Well, you tell stories. Stories are everything. Having community forums and even ratings. So ratings go into convincing, but ratings also let people know that other people like you. And that inspires us to take a look at you. So case studies, testimonials, price lists, checklists, demonstrations on video, these are things that make us feel comfortable when we decide to do business with you, no matter what it is, right? So these are the types of content materials that you can do. So taking a look at this more clearly, you have to sit down. So to the people that ask me that question, you have to do some kind of an analysis, and you need to say which channels are most effective. A channel is like Facebook. Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it your website? Where are they coming from? And how does each type of content affect their behavior? Are we inspiring them with this? Are we educating them with this? So this is where you need to decide where the gaps are here. So to answer the question, all of this is critical, and then you plan it out, right? 90% of consumers search the internet. They're on there looking before they make a decision. 3/4 of that decision is made by the time they show up, by the time they're in your shopping cart, by the time they call your store, by the time they, schedule a tour. These are the things that they're looking for to make a decision. And we all do it. We do it subconsciously now. This is an illustration that kind of gives you an idea for those of you that aren't so sure, right? We just naturally say, Siri, find me, I need, compare this, what's on sale, right? So your customers need things and you want to compel them to action. So if I ask Siri or Google, where can I find something? I'm probably ready to buy something. If I ask them, how do I do something? Then you need to educate me. You need to show me where that is. So I want you to think about your own behavior and how you go in and do searches on the internet for the things that you want, whether it's the closest Thai restaurant with the best ratings, or you want to get a pair of shoes on sale, or you're trying to find a school program for a child. All of these things require digital content. And so that's why it's critical that you do this. Your content strategy, what we've been talking about, is about answering your customers' questions, solving their problems, right? So if I need shoes, that means I don't have shoes, or I have an event, right? Maybe I'm going to a wedding. And you giving them experiences. That's where the inspiration and the entertainment come from. Because we do everything digitally today. We don't really have a lot of human interaction. It comes later in that process. So you have to offer me things that make me feel a part of your community. If you have a brick and mortar business, a retail store, you need to have events, and they need to be regular. You need to be bringing people in to experience and feel important about who you are and what you do. And there's so many creative ways that you can do that. So to get to what we were going to talk about today and to include all of that in here, we're going to go back to the content calendar. And today we're going to look at the holidays and all of the things that happen. So when you plan, this is just sort of a rule of thumb. You have a 26-day range of events, right? So if you're going to have a big promotion or a big event, you've got to get information out there, right? Google has to find you. People have to search for you. It can't just be the day before. You have to really think through the events. And don't forget that you have all of those days after that you can continue to talk about the event. So on the event, taking pictures, having raffles, doing things that are fun so that you can talk about it. So on the 21st, you're talking about the event, and the 22nd, and then fear of missing out, right? Oh my gosh, I missed that event. So if you're doing events every month, the minute you finish, you're starting right over. And you're constantly posting things to get people excited. And it doesn't happen overnight. We are bombarded with information, but you need to know that it can't start a week or two before. This is something that you plan out. One of the resources we talked about last week was a whole annual calendar of events. And this is why you do it. You say, well, what are we going to do in July when nobody's around? What are we going to do in August? What are we going to do in November? What are we going to do for Christmas, right? Christmas actually starts 2 months before. So seasonal content doesn't affect everyone in terms of their sales or their services, but it does affect you in terms of the content, in terms of the entertaining people and educating them and sort of pulling that around. So let's say you are a dentist. I mean, how does Valentine's Day affect you? It really doesn't, but it gives you something to write about. You can talk about it. You're putting it on the calendar and you're stretching it out over the course. Maybe your staff did something, maybe you can find inspiring things, and you can always try to relate it. So you do have to post content that's educating and entertaining us. So as you look at this calendar, you can kind of see it fills you up just on these basic national holidays. This is nothing specific. These are just the basic things that we all are very familiar with, that most people, well, except for Valentine's and St. Patrick's Day, most people have off. Father's Day and Mother's Day are on Sunday. And so these are ways that you can begin to look at your information and how it is. So you have to plan it out. Maybe you can blog about it. Maybe you can get all that work done on the days that you have time to do it, and you can recirculate it from last year. So it doesn't mean that once you do it, it's done forever in the ozone. If you did some great posts a couple of years ago, just pull them out and refresh them, and just write on the bottom that it was originally posted in 2016 on Mother's Day. It doesn't matter. We have a very short memory. Events that are most popular. This was another question that someone had asked me. And it's pretty basic. I mean, Christmas is, obviously the number one holiday because people sell a lot of stuff. But if you're a service industry, you tend not to sell a whole lot of stuff. So it's really difficult in there. But the most content is produced over these holidays. So this is an American. We definitely love Christmas. We love Halloween, and we love New Year's, right? So you should be publishing a ton of stuff talking about this and finding ways to relate it to your business. Least content tends to be over St. Patrick's Day, Father's Day, and March Madness. So unless your business is specific, you have gifts, or you're a bar, or you sell men's clothing or something like that, it tends not to be as large, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't publish content over these things. And some people, March Madness isn't anything, but it is something that people talk about. So why not reference the things that are going on in our world? That's probably the main point. Using national holidays and hashtag days are really critical. And you can go in and you can Google national holidays calendar or hashtag holidays. And you can see where they are, decide if they're worthy to go on your calendar. You can use them or not use them just by mentioning them in here. Some things are not applicable to everybody's business, but some things really are, right? So go in, find out what they are, get somebody to put them on that content calendar, the ones that are applicable to you. Fruit cake toss day may mean nothing to your business, but then trivia day could be something because one of the people on your staff is really, always doing trivia, or you have a client who always does that kind of stuff. Gives you an opportunity to talk about your business, to talk about you, to talk about your services, and to, really make your business personal and entertaining, right? So April 22nd is Earth Day. This is a huge day. Every business can discuss this, right? So if you had some kind of a plan for the week, you have your theme. Everybody loves the earth, right? We all live on the earth, so we all can talk about that. And you can post this blog on Sunday, right? Maybe you're going to do a contest. Maybe you're going to ask people to take a picture of their favorite part of the earth and post it. And that doesn't matter what kind of business you have, but you need to build up to that. You need to talk about it through there. So this is kind of the supporting materials that go with that content calendar, and all of you can do it and go in. So this is a little blurry, but you in the entertainment part in national events. So here were some other events that I know that a lot of retailers use, also a lot of service providers. So we all are aware of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and we can all play on that. But it does have a shorter duration because we're so bombarded with it, right? But I think it's interesting the longest publishing ranges. And these are statistics that are taken, from lots of different businesses and from retail sources, that there's a big lead up to it because graduation is a whole process. And you can ask customers for their stories. You just want to engage people, get them to your social media sites, get them to your website, right? The Olympics, they're coming, right? The Winter Olympics were here. The Academy Awards, again, Halloween. Look at the lead time on there. Look at the amount of content that many businesses are doing. They're doing contests, they're having fun, they're talking about it, they're aware of what's happening. And so you can use this in your calendar to say, well, I personally like the Grammys, but it doesn't relate to my business. But you are the business. You're the passion and the story behind it, right? If someone on your staff just graduated from something, talk about it. These are the things that make us connect with a business, because we don't want to know what you do. We want to know why you do it and who you are and what's important to you. So keep these things in mind. Also, this is a sore subject with a lot of people, is video. Video is not difficult to do, and it doesn't require a staff or fancy cameras. You can do it right off of your mobile phone. These numbers are incredible, and they are only higher now. So these are from 2015. YouTube videos are the most popular. Sharing videos gets people to look, to stop, to see on every single topic imaginable. It doesn't matter what you do. You can do a quick 3-minute how-to on something that goes on in your business. You can ask your staff and employees to take a quick video of something. Don't worry about your hair and what you look like, because it's the content that we are looking for. It's the things that are going to make your business survive. So you really have to incorporate these types of things. Finally, it benefits you to include every single person. So you don't have to have this, right, in a big company where you have the designer and the legal person and the writer and all that kind of stuff. But you need to know that this is going to increase sales in your business. So it has to be worth the time, the staffing, the money to create a process of stories, testimonials, and relevant content posts. And it's not something that you can do all by yourself. You need to include the people on your team. You need to schedule it. I work with lots of schools. You want staff that have, they're scheduled every minute. So for them to take extra time is overtime. But there's ways to get that information so that somebody else can do it, so that you hire someone, maybe 5-10 hours a week, to take all of that information that's important and relevant and then put it into a format. Hiring somebody is one solution, but they have to be embedded in your business. They have to know what it is that your customers want to know. So it's really, really important. So let's reflect, as we do every week, on this process. Is it worth your bottom line to get a coordinated team content strategy and process, to put it on a calendar, to plan it out? And you don't need to start in January. It's April. Start in April. Go April to April. That's all you need to do. You just need to get it started. Let's go through our weekly goals. How many new emails did you add to your list this week? If you didn't add any, then you're not putting out the information. What were your total sales for the week? Again, total sales are the popular items. So maybe you didn't sell. What are they looking at? Is it popular? Why? Was it something that was in our newsletter? Was it something in a post? What could have brought that out? What was making that? Maybe you're not aware that there's a national holiday that you didn't even know. Did every employee know about your promotions and your ads? This is critical that you include your team in your business. How many new fans did you add to your Pinterest, to your Twitter accounts? It's important to know those numbers. And what was your most popular piece of content? Maybe it was your newsletter. Did you get more opens this week than last week? Are people looking at Facebook or Instagram more than they're looking? Are the people the same? You need to start paying attention to that. And who are your most engaged followers? These are people that like the stuff that you're doing. They are giving you free marketing research. They're saying to you, I like this, right? They're also sharing it with people for free. They're not on your staff. They're saying, hey, family and friends, here's something that I value and I want you to value it. You know, I have shared content and I have moved coast to coast. I have shared content that my friends on the East Coast now follow businesses on the West Coast, and they have no opportunity to ever even go there. But they like what's being posted. They like the information. They love that it's there, and they know people that live here. So you just don't know where that kind of stuff happens, but you have to know who these people are, and you need to talk to them. And that's where customer service is improved, is thanking customers, thanking your people who are out there sharing your information, reaching out to them with a note, with a phone call, something that says, hey, I value you as a customer. And it's a big project. So to keep it short and sweet, which is what we did, next week, I'm going to break down each one of those content types: the educate, entertain, inspire, and convert. I'm going to show you some examples in different industries of what you can use to help you fill that content calendar, because everything today in a digital world is completely about content. And I really appreciate the questions. I got so many last week. I figured it was just a no-brainer, but it is important that you send them out, and we do want to keep these short, and I will send a follow-up to all of you, and I really appreciate you being on the call. If there's some topics you have, I am going to publish out a little bit of a calendar, because I have some things that I want to share, in the next several weeks. So have a great day. Also, have a really wonderful marketing week.